Cold water splashed his face. Seth writhed on his back, copper wires biting and binding his wrists and ankles. Then the agony hit, a throbbing that made the forest spin, and he slipped into delicious oblivion, at least until the water came again. "Stay with me, Seth." A boy's voice. "You took it pretty hard in the head." Slowly, the name came to him. Pharaoh. "I was scared I'd lost you there," the boy said. Seth struggled against his copper bonds. What happened?" "Oh, I bopped you in the head with the oak you gave me." Pharaoh giggled. "Then I snapped it to pieces. I'd rather take than be given something. That's why I'm stealing yours." Seth felt his stomach lurch. "I don't understand. Night after night, you stole the negative from the sky. Then you came here to stash it in this tree." Pharaoh leaned over him, twirling Seth's oak about, and in his dizziness, the boy, and the ground he stood on, seemed to whirl with it. "Then, why's negative growing? Why the spike? Hadn't you wondered?" Seth opened his mouth, but he had no answer. Was the boy blaming him? Or how about that tart in the marketplace? What a catch! "And you almost caught her too. You probably wanted to take her then and there. How do you know about that?" "Know about it?" Pharaoh barked a fake laugh. "I've been planning it for weeks." Seth's heart to beat. "What?" "We're alike, you and I, just opposite," the boy said. "We manipulate the probabilities. I take away the positive. You take away the negative. I caused the spike as you caused the lull before that. If that's true, then you're as responsible for your father's death as the Lodestoners. The spike was the catalyst. Not that the guild needed much prodding." "The Lodestoners didn't kill my father," Pharaoh said. "I did. Of course, I didn't kill him all at once, not until he spilled all his lodestoning secrets. As I've spilled mine. I knew all of that already." Pharaoh turned to the redwood. "I didn't need all your secrets. Just one. The Azazel Tree. That's what you call it." The boy wrapped the bark with Seth's staff. "For a year now, I've puzzled it. If I consumed too much negative, the field would grow less negative. So I stole the positive. But I couldn't steal too much. If things got too negative too fast, people would flee. The field would diminish. It is not too late to reverse it, Pharaoh. And end up like you. Working the positive for everyone but me." The boy snorted. "You lose sleep over what? To wallow in a filthy cot. To have someone like me come along and take what little you have." Obsidian streaks twisted above the Azazel tree, a cyclone consuming half the sky, vortex within vortex, portending great evils, worse than anything Seth had ever seen. He needed his staff, and now. He tried adjusting the probabilities, enough to weaken his bonds, but struggle as he might, the copper wire did not yield. The copper seemed to restrain the good, just as it restrained his hands. "I know what you are about to do. I know the temptation myself," Seth said. "Think. If you take in that much evil, what will that do to you? You are far too young. My father used to say that. You're too young. All in good time. Wait till you're older." The boy swung the staff, missing Seth's nose by an inch. "I wasn't too young to kill him, was I?" He found that out. Pharaoh returned the staff to the Azazel tree, and worked it inside a nook. "After this, nobody will say that to me again." It began with a trickle. Oil-like threads sprouted from the Azazel tree and spiraled along the staff, seeping into the boy's arm. The threads thickened into rope-sized tentacles, gushing into the boy, enveloping him. In the sky, the vortex reached its breaking point, erupting into an obsidian inferno. Waves of evil crashed over the city-state. The Azazel tree creaked and groaned, louder and louder, until the rootstock exploded into a cloud of sawdust. Down the Azazel tree came, with a roar that left Seth's ears ringing. The tree slapped the stream, chopping at the water, and sending waves to surge its banks. The trunk settled into the creek for hundreds of feet, terminating in a mountain of branches and leaves. The sawdust parted, revealing a creature towering 9 feet high, clutching Seth's staff, and standing where the boy had stood. It bore Pharaoh's face, but it was no longer a boy. Reddish-grey scales armored a human-like frame, a hide tougher than skin and more malleable than bark. "What's the matter, Seth? Have I shot up since you've last seen me?" Pharaoh examined himself with gleaming eyes. His voice, rather than deepening with sighs, had a heightened pitch. "That's what happens sometimes. One day, you're looking down at a runt, and the next, you're craning your neck. And then you can only hope you haven't messed with him too bad, 'cause then it's payback. What have you done to yourself? I could kill you, Seth." To make the point, Pharaoh pressed the staff against Seth's windpipe. But death's never a goal in itself, only the means, when it suits me. He flung the staff over his shoulder, a sneer contorting his face into ugliness. "For now, evil dreams, Seth." The staff arced down, slicing the air with a hiss. Seth steeled himself, and after a blaze of sparks and pain, returned to nothingness.